A mythical beast is said to have been captured in China. Upon its arrival in the United States, all hell breaks loose when it breaks loose, despite being locked up.
What secrets present themselves, and what are the true motives of the man responsible for its capture?
This is not happening.
That was perfect. I don't care what anybody thinks.
You know, every time we do these, it grows and grows on me. You listen to it, you're like, man, who are the poets behind these intros?
Yes, that's right. Poets plural, because occasionally
Poets plural.
You write something and I go, I don't think that's right.
Well, that's edited a little bit.
Of editing.
It's a collaborative
Makes it
effort.
better.
Absolutely.
Makes it better. So, hey, you want to talk some dog stories?
Let's talk dog stories.
Yeah.
I don't have my dogs down here. My dogs are upstairs. I have a Great Dane and a Shiba Inu, and it is his birthday today.
Whoa.
So he is 3. He's a big boy.
Has he ever ripped your throat out?
And there's sometimes.
Oh,
He put it back though. So
there's a lot of that in this episode.
Very polite. Yeah, he doesn't keep it. But yes, we are talking about Alpha, ladies and gentlemen. Season 6.
Yeah, this is an episode. Would you say this is the werewolf episode? You even said, "Is it better than Shapes?" When you were
I did
for
prompt
comments.
people with questions on the Facebook page. You know, is this better than Shapes? And I was hoping to get some responses there. So we'll see. It is definitely the Shapes of season 6.
Yeah. I don't recall thinking a lot of Shapes either.
No, it's different enough, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have some things to say about that towards the end.
I will have things to say.
Yeah. It's well, let's just jump into it, Andrew. Let's get your thoughts out in the open right now. What's wrong with this episode?
No. I'm gonna save it. My best demo comes later. But I wanted to
different episode. We're not covering it at all.
Let's talk about Shapes again. I think that's a good one.
I would do that.
Well, what I wanted to say was just, again, this is another episode which is not helmed or directed by some of our regulars. This is written by Jeffrey Bell, who wrote The Rain King, which is actually, I liked that one. He does 2 more in season 7 and then 1 in season 8. And he floats around the same circles as other X-Files people. He worked on Angel, Alias, and eventually becomes the executive producer for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Pretty popular show. And Peter Merkel, the director here, he directed Christmas Carol in season 5, and he'll go to do Red Rum in season 8. He's directed for ER, NYPD Blues, CSI Miami, and Without a Trace. So, I mean, he's got some cred. Like, he's got a pretty big profile on IMDb. But yeah, I think this is a hastily written episode. I gather they didn't have a script 3 weeks before production was set to begin. So I think you see it. I think you see a lot.
See a lot in this episode.
Yeah. But yeah, I will just say I didn't really like this one. I'll save my dog puns for later. Other than there's a few moments maybe. But even then, like, there are some episodes which I think we've agreed are
I'm not going to
episodes.
Dog on this episode?
No, not going to pile on.
No,
whatever.
Doggone.
This is a doggone episode.
Probably one of the best parts of the episode right there, and it happens in the first 5 minutes.
It's going to be good. I suppose that is it. Because like I say about some episodes that are otherwise turds, they will usually have something in it where we go, oh, well, that's a nice little touch. I'm thinking about the one where Mulder gets the glasses, uses his glasses to get fingerprints off a corpse.
Yeah.
Nice touch in an otherwise
terrible episode.
Yeah. I don't know if that really happens in here other than some good puns. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Are you ready to begin?
I'm ready to raise the woof. I'm ready to fetch a good episode here. I think it's time for us to get the paw tea started.
Please tell me these weren't pre-written.
They were pre-written.
Ah, damn it. I was like, man, I was going to give you some serious props, but they're still good. I enjoyed them. Good work, sir.
It's all right. Yeah, it's time to unleash.
Let's unleash
the episode.
Oh, man. Haven't even started. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, we open, Andrew, on the Pacific Ocean. The TNCO freighter. Mark Snow's inoffensive Asian instruments play an ominous and enchanting melody, letting us know that Asian people will be involved in this episode.
Oh, yes.
In the hold of the ship, two men search amongst stacks of boxes with a flashlight. They key in on one from Hong Kong. It sits precariously in the middle of the floor. One of them claims whatever inside tried to bite them before. With balls of steel, he slides open the small viewing port and peers in with his flashlight. To everyone's surprise, glowing red eyes stare back at him from pitch darkness. He summons the other guy over and claims it can't be a tiger. Just then, the creature lunges at the viewing port, scaring the men back. The animal continues to growl and thrash inside the metal crate. We see that it's padlocked, and after a moment, the commotion stops. The men investigate cautiously, first by kicking the cage to see if the animal responds, and then by undoing the padlock to get a better look, Andrew.
They deserved everything that happens to them.
They deserve everything that's about to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I have two comments here. One is nothing good will come out of, like, I'm writing comments as I see this. Is how I do it for this particular episode. Nothing good will come of messing with the thing in the box. World's stupidest goons. Yeah.
Yeah. I like how
this. Nobody does this.
Nobody does this. We're scared by some eyes. The box is shaking, and you're just going to undo the top.
I think we killed it.
It should be okay.
We looked at it, and I think it's dead.
I kicked it twice. Sure. Nothing happened. Oh, well.
Said no one ever.
They lift the roof of the box. A percussive sting sounds in the music, and we cut to daytime at the harbor. A police officer rolls onto the scene. TNCO is docked, and crates are being removed. One of the ship's crew leads officers down to the crate. Another man, Detweiler, is there viewing it. He's angry. He was to be notified of its arrival because the animal needs care. We see a small pool of blood at the seams of the crate. The Asian crew member unlocks the padlock and opens the lid, much like the men in the previous scene. When everyone peers inside, Snow's music reaches a sharp crescendo, and we see the two crew members inside, bloodied, dead. Credits.
There you go.
You know, we never did our scat challenge where we ask our members.
We talked about it.
We talked about it way back in season 1, I think.
I remember it. Yep.
So anyone here, we have a full house here. Anyone who would like to submit their best scat of the, not animal scat of the X-Files theme.
That could make it better.
That could make it better. You will get a free package of stickers.
Emily wants
the whole theme in scat. Not in shit again.
Beebity-wah, beebity-whoa, beebity-woo.
Skidoo-bitty-bop-bop-bitty-boo.
Yeah, that'll be a challenge. I think we need to get Libby on that one too.
Absolutely.
Well, we got from the outtakes at the end. She was really into it.
She loved it every moment.
Yeah.
She totally didn't stand here nervously.
Yeah.
Piece of shit would be better than me scatting it.
Or equivalent.
Well, Matt, you can submit a blazing guitar solo inside the theme song. Go ahead and do that.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Matt is the shredder of the group.
Nice.
Quite the chops. So how did this grab you? I mean, everyone acted how a human would act in this opener, right?
It was completely believable. And I will confess, the minute I saw Detweiler standing beside the crate, and the guys are like, "How did you get in here?" I was like, "Well, he was the dog inside the box."
Ooh.
And he changed his form to just be there. That's how we got here, obviously. So And that's in the same logic of you've only got so many characters to play with in an episode. How are you going to use them? Clearly, he is being going to be presented as a good guy, and then we'll have the reveal of him being a bad guy. But
is he
from the get-go? It
guy?
was so ham-handed. It's like this is the bad guy right there. Obviously,
the bad guy. Absolutely.
So, I mean, all I needed was like a trail of blood on his face, and he'd be like, "Oh, how did this get on here? My goodness." But yeah, so how did it get me? It was a bit meh for me because I've started to really see through it quite quickly, and the whole business of the goons just being so stupid. I was like, well, no, I mean, this is just an excuse for them to get killed, and there are probably craftier ways for this to happen. And again, this speaks to the fact that they had to come up with this. They had to get it done. You know, they had to get it done, and they probably had to cut some corners to get it done.
Absolutely. So before you even start, do you recognize Detweiler?
Yeah, I do recognize him. I couldn't tell you where I've seen him before, but I don't think X-Files.
No. He is Andrew Robinson, who plays the wonderful Garrick in Deep Space Nine, the shopkeeper.
Oh, yeah, the Cardassian guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a little less makeup in this one.
Wonderful character. I actually enjoyed him in that show, but
yeah, no, he's got some quality lines in that show. Actually, he's better than that show than this one.
In fact, let's just watch the whole Deep Space Nine show instead of this episode.
if that's what we have to do. But no, I've got some quality vitriol to spit in this one, so I'm ready.
All right. Well, we come back. We're at the FBI headquarters. Mulder pins up a photo of the two deceased crewmen as Scully comes in. She's ready to leave for the day, and she asks what he's got because she senses it about him. 2 men found dead in the hold of their cargo ship, multiple bite wounds, but that's not why he's interested. The men were found inside the crate, and he makes several attempts to get Scully to crack a smile, but she is not biting. No pun.
As shouldn't be, yeah.
No, puns everywhere. She snatches the file from him and flips through it. Bite wounds are rarely lethal, she says. They lead to it through the loss of blood, but she wonders how accurate the report is if that's what it's claiming. Local PD wrote it up, and outside source says it was indeed a dog, but she's not buying it. 2 men in a locked cage, no way a dog did this. Well, it's a bad dog, Mulder quips.
I need to comment on one good thing about this episode.
Yeah.
So,
the entire thing, the writing?
The entire thing is amazing, and I'm pleased to have been a part of it. It's this camera angle, which I have put up for people who are with us in the chat that you can see. Mm-hmm. This shot is technically impossible with a traditional camera and camera lens setup because Mulder is in focus in the foreground and Scully is in focus in the background. So Peter Markle is having fun with the technical challenge here. And you see this in some movies. You do see people try and do this where, I mean, technically as a director, you got to make choices. Do you have Mulder being focused in the scene or do you have Scully being focused in this scene? If you wanted, you could pull focus between them so that when Mulder speaks, you see him in focus. And then when Scully speaks, it focuses back on her. It's a bit distracting to do that. So what they have done here for this particular shot, and again, this is Mulder looking at the board in the foreground. We see him looking kind of over our left shoulder. And then in the distance in the doorway is Scully, who is looking at Mulder. So what they have done here is either there is a special lens you can get, which can focus left and right. It's ridiculous to use. So I think more likely what they have done is they've shot it twice. They shot once with Mulder, and then they've shot once with Scully, and then they've composed it in post so that both of them get to be in focus. It is oddly specific for this scene. Like there are a dozen ways you could have shot this, so you didn't need to do this, but Peter Markle decided he wanted to do this, and it's just interesting to call it.
It's interesting, yeah. And the last time we saw this was in .com, actually.
Yes.
But that was very obviously a composite shot.
Yes.
I almost... You know what? I never looked at this scene in that light before. I was wondering, is the room... Because Scully's pretty close. Like, she's far away, but she's
She's across the office, though.
She's across the office, but how big is the office? You know, like
you think this is forced perspective? Do they have a mini Scully just over his shoulder?
No. I feel like they could have gotten away with this in a different way. I'm agreeing with you. Like, this is a technique that, the way you're describing it, seems very difficult to do, or kind of pointlessly difficult for such a mundane scene.
You know, the answer is she friggin' walks into the room and she's on his shoulder and looking at the board with him. I mean, that is an obvious, you know, you don't need to have this fancy composite.
Yeah.
They're just suddenly in the frame together, as opposed to, you know, this business of split composite. But, you know, I mean, more power to him. He wanted to do it.
Yeah.
The thing that's weird for me is it's only this scene. Like, nowhere else in the episode do they try this? Do they decide to do this? So I really am at a loss for why they decided to do this. So
it's a cool shot.
It's a cool shot. He's like, I always wanted to do this. So he did it.
Well, we go now to Bellflower, California. Cut to golden retriever outside a house. It's JoJo, Andrew. Barking up a storm, a man comes out to get her, and in the distance, beyond a fence, he sees a silhouette of another dog. The image is cast on a thin paper-like sheet intertwined in the fence. It stands ever still. The man puts his dog in the house and continues on outside to the fence, calling for the dog to go home. When he gets to the fence, we clearly see the silhouette of the animal, but when he peers over it, there's nothing there. He looks down the alley to see nothing. When he heads back inside, he looks for JoJo. He tracks through the house. He tells her in a playful manner, she better not be on the bed. He looks into another room, halting at the door. Nothing. He turns around and sees his beloved dog lying down under a small table, facing away from him. He talks to her and calls her lazy bones. When he goes to jostle her gently, he pulls back bloody fingers. If that wasn't bad enough, Andrew, he hears growling from behind him. He whirls to see what it is, and it's a wolf-like beast growling viciously, baring its teeth and gums at him. Not animatronic, Andrew.
No.
This is one angry puppy.
One of a dozen.
I do have to ask you a question. Is it still weird that I still want to hug it?
In its current growly state?
Yes,
he's
adorable. I mean,
more power to you, man. But I
probably
don't know if you're going to emerge from that unscathed.
I wouldn't be successful in it, but I still want to pet him. He's a good boy.
Let me hug you.
This was worth it.
Stop resisting.
Well, yeah.
No, don't get to go past this just yet, unless you're not done this scene.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, wait, there's still an attack to happen here. I mean,
absolutely.
Body flung around.
Well, yeah, we all know what's about to happen here.
Yeah.
It's a cool scene, a little frightening because they jazz up the wolf's eyes with that crimson red. That's actually, if there's one thing I like about the episode, it's the eyes. They are very gemstone-like, and they have a really cool quality to them. Very obviously CG, but it's still very cool.
Well, they needed it because otherwise it's a wolf, you know, or not, it's a Malamute or something. But, you know, they needed to have it. Otherwise, it would just be a dog. Now it's a magic dog to have that.
Magic.
Okay. Even though I think when I wrote these notes down, I selectively forgot that Detweiler was the dog. Because then I got to this point of like, what the hell is this scene even for? Right? Because somehow Superdog manages to kill JoJo silently, open up the door, drag the body inside, leave no blood marks at all, and then sneak up on the dude. And it's, you know, for good TV, it's really good.
Did you say he drags the body inside the house?
Well, the dog was outside, wasn't it? Because he's like, JoJo, where'd you go? And then
the man put the dog outside, or put the dog inside. And then he investigates the shadow, which turns out to not be there. So the dog unlocked the door and went in. So I have to defend the episode on that one. He didn't kill the dog outside and drag it in.
Okay, I clearly got a little messed up about something there. But either way, like, he's able to kill the dog completely silently. Like, JoJo just takes
sound.
it. Yeah. And without any blood either. Like, it's the best kill ever.
It's the cleanest kill of two dogs fighting ever.
I mean, I know the episode goes to great pains to try and go into why the animal / person is doing the kills that they're doing, and never really succeeds in answering the question. And this is the first part of it. It's like, why is it attacking and killing poor Jojo and this Conroy guy, Jake Conroy?
It's nothing more, in my opinion, than to just set up spookiness in this episode. Yeah. It doesn't really have a purpose.
He's just randomly being killed.
Yeah. So, whatever.
That is probably my biggest complaint of the episode, is I kind of wished it wasn't random, that there was a reason for it. Like, and then I think
they verge on it later. On it. But it's not very successful.
Not successful. I mean, I think of other episodes where they finally come to a reason of why the killings are happening, and then it kind of feels a bit more earned. Whereas here, you just have to stop him because he's a mad dog, ultimately, is the only answer we get. But, yeah. So good TV, but just it presents more questions than it answers.
Right. Well, back at the bustling shipyard, the agents catch up with Officer Jeffrey Kahn. He goes to look at the metal crate. They haven't found much, but the dog isn't likely still on the ship. There's no poopies. He tells Mulder that. The crate was shipped to a cryptozoologist named Detweiler. They haven't been able to determine the type of dog this was, and just then Detweiler comes in. He's demanding to speak to someone about the theft of this animal. It's very valuable, a rare breed, the Washang Doll. Washang Doll. Wanshang. How do you pronounce that, Andrew? Washang Doll. That's what I'll say.
I think the H is silent. That's all I got out of it.
Yes.
It's the D hole. It's the D hole.
Well, it's the WD hole. Well, Detweiler was on the expedition that caught it, and when Mulder questions him about the animal's hostility, he waves it away, saying it's not a predatory animal. It does have mythic qualities, but it's more of a scavenger. Another officer breaks up the meeting. There's been another death. A vicious animal attack in Bellflower.
Yeah, your gentle scavenger may have torn out somebody's thorax.
Someone's prized little golden retriever for no reason. Yeah. I do want to say the ship, even though we missed it at the beginning, the first harbor scene, it's actually a composite shot. That's an empty shipyard.
Yeah. And
they used a toy boat to get like the shape of the boat down, and they added their own little elements of it to make it look more
completely convincing. I was blown away when I saw that production note. I was like, holy cow, that's a composite.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, they were really cheaped out on this one, but they've spent a lot of dough on previous episodes, so I'm not surprised they have to catch him.
Well, we go to poor Jojo's house. Mulder inspects the yard and the fence line. Jake Conroy, he was a customs agent. The bite marks match. His hand was bitten off. Scully surmises because the doors were locked and the victims were inside, the animal was being kept in his house. But then how did he get out? Mulder thinks they're looking for a dog with human intelligence, and she plays along. Where would we even look for one? How about with a human that thinks like an animal, Mulder suggests.
Ooh. That's the beginnings of him using his ability.
His very human ability to surmise and deduce
his
facts.
Normal
rational thinking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
They call them guesstimations. They call them educated guesses as to
educated
what's going
guesses. Yeah, clearly. Anybody could have gone there.
Yep. Well, the agents roll up on a large kennel in the country. This is Karen Berquist's kennels. A woman is pounding a fence post in on the perimeter. They mistake her for Karen Berquist, who they have come to meet. They introduce themselves and ask to see her.
I think you need to call her Karen Barquist. Barquist show now.
She lets them into the house and they make themselves comfortable. Mulder apparently has been in contact with this person online, though he's never met her. She helped introduce him to the case. She knows more about dogs than anyone on the planet. Scully looks around and questions the woman. There's an immediate resistance, Andrew, to Karen for Scully.
You get that?
Whether it's romantic or professional, this is the first she's hearing of Karen, and I think this sudden information of Mulder having any kind of chumminess with her is a little bit jarring.
With any woman.
Any woman. This episode is going to end bloody, ladies and gentlemen.
I think,
one way or another.
Just to test our hypothesis on the perception quality here, I will ask Emily in the chat how she felt about the relationship between Mulder and Karen Barquist.
Oh yeah, Barquist.
Compared to, as vis-a-vis Scully being in the same room there. And maybe we'll get a note later on.
Yes.
But I think it's pretty clear why they've written Karen in the way they have.
Oh, yeah. Well, Scully notes the odd titles of Karen's books, The Wolf Inside, Dogs Don't Lie, and Better Than Human. She's not a big people person. Scully zeroes in on one of Karen's posters. I want to believe. The room door opens and a barrage of various canines come in, a Great Dane, all the way down to a terrier. Karen steps in, a middle-aged woman who looks rather sickly. She settles the dogs with a word, and they all take refuge on various furniture to lie down. Mulder introduces himself as she bypasses him to close the shades. The room darkens considerably. She sits down and answers their questions with an unexpected curtness from a supposed friend.
All right. Settle down. Settle.
Karen? I'm Fox. Fox Mulder. This is my partner, Dana Scully. It's nice to finally meet you.
I wish I'd known. I don't get many visitors. Stacy tells me you have a question about behaviorism.
Yeah, it's about the animal I'm tracking. The one you mentioned in your email, about its intelligence.
Canids' intelligence is far superior to ours, if that's what you want to know.
Intelligence enough to murder?
Murder takes no intelligence. It's a human behaviorism.
What about hunting?
Coyotes use elaborate trickeries to draw out their prey. Many canids do, alone or in packs.
What about a dole?
If you mean the Wan Chang dole, it's extinct. Is there any other reason you came here?
No. Thank you, Karen.
Come on.
Mulder. She's a friend of yours?
Oh, we met online.
Online.
Two professionals exchanging information.
And it's here that Scully reminds him about season 3, Andrew, and the dangers of meeting people online.
Too shy? Is that what you're
Too shy?
into?
Too shy, yep.
Yeah. I think Miss Barquist certainly does have that feel about her that, eat you and consume your precious iron for my condition.
Yes.
Yeah. Karen is barking up the wrong tree with Mulder, says Matt in chat. Very good.
Good stuff.
I love her line when she says, was there any other reason you came
Yeah,
here?
damn.
Looking at Mulder, and it's like, oh, yeah, I thought we might go back and have some sex, but,
Doggy style. Low-hanging fruit. Come on, we were all thinking it.
Fruit, clearly.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
she is very no nonsense, and it catches both of the agents off guard. Scully's skepticism of her really only increases after this conversation. Like, she was already on the fence just finding out about this person, and the way she's treating both of them is like, what is going on with you? Stay away from Mulder.
I will have questions and comments later about the Scully-Karen Berquist relationship.
Absolutely.
But for now, I mean, they're just setting her up as a little bit odd. I'm actually okay with the actor's performance in this. Turns out she's married to the director.
Yep, she is.
So
I think she does a really good job, honestly. I don't think she's not contributing to the episode's negativity. Let's just put it that way.
she's just written that way.
Do you think the one thing that Scully's not doing, as Matt is pointing out, she's being territorial. She's not peeing like around Mulder's feet, which she probably should have done in the beginning.
I would have loved to see Scully just bury you. Anywho, yeah, it's nice touch on the "I Want to Believe" poster too. I mean, this apparently is Frank Spotnit's contribution to the script. Originally, it was just a Mad Dog episode, and then I think the writer was having a bit of issue sort of bringing it together, making it make sense. And then he suggested, well, why don't you have Mulder have a previous relationship or some kind of relationship with your character
or
here, your dog.
An assumed relationship. I don't know. I don't buy that he is aware of this relationship at all.
Well, it's so subtle as to be non-existent, and the fact that he is saying like, we're just two experts exchanging information, what the fuck? I can't be nice to somebody on the internet. I've never seen Scully. Get a life. But yeah, It's just, it's strange. I feel like they try for something here. They never quite reach it.
Well, it's nighttime. An officer rolls up to an abandoned warehouse. He snatches a wrangling pole from his car. This is Fiedler. The man is an officer with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Department. He searches the cold alleyway with his flashlight and pole. He uses it to dig through some trash. When he kneels down to investigate, he uncovers a severed hand. A shape darts across the alleyway behind him, startling him. He heads inside the building cautiously. Naturally, he heads downstairs into an even darker basement area. Its cold cement floor and walls are obscured by thick steam from nearby pipes. He hears something behind him and identifies himself loudly to the room. A silhouette of a man appears in the steam but doesn't reply. As it approaches, it continues ignoring Fiedler, and quickly we see the silhouette slink down onto all fours and become a dog-like beast in the mist. The canine walks into focus, glowing red jewels of eyes in the darkness. It snarls and attacks without hesitation. This is one angry dog, Andrew.
It's the angriest of dogs.
I have to ask, obviously they do many wonderful things with animals for film and television, but what did they do to this dog to make it act this way? That is an angry looking dog.
Oh, yeah. So dogs can be effective actors.
Absolutely.
They auditioned a lot of dogs.
A lot of dogs for this role.
And they came up with a dozen that they used. And I guess they all kind of look the same, the same breed of dog. So I got to think that they had a lot of takes of angry dog. But the thing is, you don't ever see a shot of person in the same frame as angry dog. It's always a close-up of the dog that you just want to give up and give a hug.
They're like holding a cat in front of it right off.
Or something. I mean, as you suggest, I too don't know what they did to bring the dog to this place. But you got to imagine they said, and cut, and the dog went, yay. Really
I want to see the outtakes where he's supposed to be doing this to make the scene really scary, but he's like having a good old time.
I want to see the deep fakes where they give him a character and like make him talk. And it's like, oh, sorry, guys. You made me a corpse again. I'm so sorry. All right, I'll do it for you all this time.
Well, later on, it's a crime scene. The agents are intercepted by Officer Kahn as they arrive. He wants Detweiler arrested for bringing that dog over to the United States. The victim is Frank Fiedler, a friend of Kahn's. He tells the agents they can catch the dog, but he's going to kill it, and he leaves. Barquist comes in. She's heard the story on the news. Mulder inquires why the dog would be killing. There's no reason for it to do so, but for sport. It's classic dominant alpha territorial behavior, she claims. The animal has outwitted or tricked its victims in each case. She seems dismissive, yet open to the idea that maybe the canine is killing for fun. It's very unnatural. Someone will likely kill this thing first before they get their answers.
Oh, I was just going to say, I like that the episode is asking the same questions that I'm asking.
Yes. Why is it killing these people?
Why is it on a killing spree? What is the reason? And I guess I'm less happy with the answer than that. It's
I'd rather be left with the question.
Please give me a better answer. But that's been my complaint about the episode all along, is it doesn't resolve to anything that makes sense other than dog bad. And fine, that's what you get for having an episode that was written and ready to go 3 weeks before time to make it. Not a lot of time to workshop it, I think, is what they had here.
That is what it comes down to. And I think I know it's not your moneymaker of an idea, but they should really start learning to call projects before they start. Before you continue wasting the money to produce the episode, why don't you just shelve it and come back next season when you've got time?
But then you got to have something else. And my guess is that this was probably the best option of the options that they had.
Most likely.
And I honestly, and I've said that about previous episodes, like, I think you can get there with them. I think you could have gotten there with this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You just needed it to be a little tighter for why the killings are happening. Like, because there's a human intelligence in there, because clearly the animal is killing in a way that is not something that a dog would do, you need to give it better motivations other than it just wants to fuck shit up.
Right.
And it's always killing these guys in uniform. So I was like trying to find a pattern. It's like, oh, were they all in on somehow the reason it got brought here? And but never gets resolved.
It's that time, everyone. The Magus Media Production sales pitch. Please check out our homepage at magusmediaproductions.net so you can stay up to date on all of our shows. Check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Magus Media Productions, both of which have our Discord link on it, where you can join us for live shows as we record them for future release. At Magus Media Prods on X, our Patreon, patreon.com/Magus Media, where a $5 donation will help us keep the lights on and bringing you new content, and you get some stickers. Thank you for your consideration and support. Well, Karen spots Detweiler, and although she doesn't know him, she dislikes him already. He approaches and states there's no evidence his animal did this. She cuts into the dialogue and directly asks him how he caught it. Well, they hunted it for 2 weeks and tranquilized it. Barquist senses the admiration for the creature, and he gives us the old Ash android answer, I admire its ability to survive.
I admire its purity.
Its purity. A survivor. Outside, Khan is making a radio call. Something's sneaking up on him as he talks. He looks around, but he doesn't see anything. Slowly, the camera curls around the front of his vehicle and closes in. Khan spins to see Detweiler in his face. The cryptozoologist looks right into his eyes and coldly tells him if he kills that animal, he will kill Khan.
Real good guy stuff.
So if you didn't already know he was the dog, now you do.
But just he's wrong. He's factually wrong in that statement.
He's factually
if you kill the
wrong?
dog, Detweiler is a dead dog.
Well, right. But he just means, don't do it because I'll die. Back off, you motherfucker. How else are you going to get someone to not do something than to threaten death?
I believe Detweiler fucking kills this guy. Right
Deathweiler?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Detweiler. All right. Well, that would be a little obvious, Andrew, and it would go against his MO.
It's true. I got to wait 4 hours before I can take you out.
Got to be at night.
Yeah.
And it's got to be for no reason. I clearly have a reason in this moment.
I can't kill you because I want to. I need you to be more random. Is there a chance you could sit on a toilet?
Could you do nothing, sir?
Do you have any Glade nearby?
Oh, my God. Wind shows up. Here you
go. Gordy, can you show him where the Glade is?
Well, we go now to Barquist's house. Karen noodles around her computer as the agents watch. Detweiler lied. There was a clear paw print at the scene of the most recent victim. We see on the computer screen a black and white photo zooming into the oddly shaped paw print. It shows a primitive, even pre-evolutionary feature. She enhances a bit more to show a fifth toe pad. Canids only have 4. Mulder points her to the vestigial toe by moving her hand on the mouse to a new location. Scully clocks this, and even Karen is caught off guard. She gets the vapors and continues on. It's the dew claw, no purpose. Scully and Barquist have a little sparring of words. She suggests it may have been possible for the dog to do what's being accused of, going in and out of doors. But here Scully stops her. Yesterday you dismissed that idea completely. No, I dismissed the idea of murder. Scully challenges her.
You misheard me, you bitch.
But you'll accept that a dog can behave like Jack the Ripper in every other way. Karen pushes. I'm going by the facts. Chinese myth says the Wansheng doll can be evil, capable of opening doors, stealing wives, disappearing. Maybe there's some basis in reality for the trickster myth. Scully is resolved in her belief that Karen is not trustworthy. I'm fairly certain there is. And leaves. Whew, boy. Ooh, boy.
They want so much to cast Scully against Berquist. It's like Mulder's the only character that can have any sense of perspective. And Berquist is just completely, ignorant of the whole situation.
Supposedly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here for dogs. What are you talking about?
I am the dog master.
Yeah.
Everything okay, Scully?
How well do you know this woman, Mulder?
How well do you know anybody you meet on the internet? She likes to talk.
Well, I questioned her motives.
You're suggesting that this case was a way to get me out here to meet me? I'm flattered, but I don't know this woman. I go out on a limb and say there's no way in hell she has anything to do with those 4 people being dead.
She's enamored of you, Mulder. Don't underestimate a woman. They can be tricksters, too.
She is on to Karen, Andrew.
Oh, yeah?
And although I question the level with which she believes Karen is being deceptive, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I can see one aspect. She brought Mulder down here on a dog case that happened to show up, which is, I'll get into that later. It's a little convenient.
Mm-hmm.
If Scully is accusing her of rationing out the facts, I don't know that I agree completely with her. How does this land with you?
It confuses me really because, again, I just come away from this feeling like they are going to great lengths to try and engineer.
Oh, it's manufactured. Yeah.
Distrust between them. Like, I don't even buy it from Scully's perspective. Like, this is classic women fighting over man stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily buy it because I don't know what Karen has to hide here. Like, she is literally just the expert witness that she's got thoughts and feelings about what's going on. She's allowed to change her mind when new evidence presents itself, because that's the first thing that Scully goes on about. She's like, well, you said yesterday it wasn't this, and now you're saying it's this today. And she's like, well, I didn't know yesterday. And so, and the other thing is, so what if she, engineered this whole situation to bring Mulder down so that they could meet? Like, that shit happens all the time, and there's nothing untoward about that, other than maybe she didn't, explicitly say, hey, there's this thing happened, by the way, we could meet when we're down. Why don't we get a drink or something? I mean, I think she's just socially awkward, and that's not easy for her. So, like, Scully is going to great pains to demonize this woman.
Scully is making sure she stays a hermit. Never, ever talk to a man again. How dare you?
Yeah.
You're doing completely normal things. It's a manufactured wedge. That's all it is.
Oh, exactly.
You can feel it. You can feel it throughout the entire episode.
It's one of the things I dislike most about the episode is this capacity to accentuate the tension that isn't really there. It doesn't ring true for me.
No. We go to Riley Animal Clinic that evening. A woman is being checked out with her St. Bernard when Detweiler comes in. The dog begins barking its deep bellows at everyone's surprise. He's usually a very good boy, but he doesn't like Detweiler. When she leaves, the doctor comes in. Detweiler called about Telazol, but they don't have much of it, nor much need for it. He gives Detweiler the tranquilizer, what little they have, and asks if it's about the animal attacks. Unfortunately for the doctor, they are looking for it in this neighborhood. Detweiler leaves. The doctor goes in back to the kennels. The dogs are all quiet for Betty by time. He proceeds to lock an indoor padlock that is chained to the back door. Not sure why, but that's there.
So the dogs can't get out.
But that doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
Listen, dogs are crafty. I've watched this episode.
They are very crafty in this episode, but
yeah,
it strikes me as odd.
Okay. In defense of this episode,
Oh my God,
of this particular writing element, it's done so that somebody can't just walk in and steal a dog.
Okay, all right, whatever. It's just, I guess. I mean, I guess what they want us to believe, and I don't know. I'm just kind of piecing this together right now. Maybe this guy is super paranoid because he was asking Detweiler, you know, I've heard about the animal attacks. Oh no, it's here. But maybe he was overcautious, and before he knew they were in this neighborhood, he's padlocking the doors shut.
I think he just always padlocks the doors. It's just SOP.
I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I've worked in a kennel. We never did that.
God, you worked everywhere.
I'm sorry.
Did you get robbed at a kennel too?
I did. By a dog.
By a dog. If only we'd had a padlock on the door, that whole thing would have been averted.
It would have been averted. I would have had years of therapy not, just kind of wiped from my life. But instead I was...
Would it have been averted?
Oh my God.
That's objectively terrible.
That was good though.
Oh yeah? Okay.
That was good. I enjoyed the fact that it was on the spot. You didn't write that one.
I didn't write that one down, I tell you.
That was a reaction to the situation, ladies and gentlemen.
It was.
Well, all right. He turns off the lights to leave, and the dogs perk up. They start barking. From behind the vet comes the Wansheng Dole. He darts away, and the animal gives chase with its ruby eyes. He manages to escape by the skin of his teeth through the door to the lobby and lock it behind him. Later on, after he's called for help, Khan comes in, ready for battle. The vet directs him to the back, and Khan goes in with his pistol. He sees movement in the distance and fires shots. He hits it. They turn the lights on. Horrified, they realize he's shot the wrong dog. A St. Bernard lies in the distance, injured. The agents arrive a bit later, and Khan catches up with them. He admits his mistake.
That's a career-ending mistake right
there. That is awful. I want to hurt Khan. You don't shoot puppies.
Listen, somebody takes that gun and shoots him in the leg. That's karmic justice right there.
Well, on the operating table, the vet takes care of the big pooch. He finishes up and leaves the room for a moment as the Bernard just lies there sleeping. The camera pulls into the dog's face. Scully enters the vet clinic and looks around the empty lobby. She notices a picture pinned up from Karen and her dogs, but is interrupted by screaming in the back. Unholsters her gun and proceeds in. The cages contain animals surprisingly calm. She approaches the operating room. The cute little pooch still laying on the operating table. As she gets closer, she sees a dead vet, blood all over him from a wound on his neck. She checks him briefly, but Mulder comes in to see the grisly scene. They both leave to call for paramedics. Once gone, the Dole takes this opportunity to shapeshift back to its normal wolf-like form. The St. Bernard was a ruse, Andrew. You didn't see that coming.
I didn't.
Didn't see that. I had no idea this was going to happen.
So, yeah. To get shot. Dog gets shot. All he needs is a couple hours on a vet's table and he's good to go again?
Good to go. Well, he is a superhuman animal.
Yeah, he's got good regeneration. He's the Wolverine of the dog world.
You know what we're missing? Detweiler having some wound.
Yes. Yes. That would have made this episode perfect. He's now got a limp. What happened? I was after the...
twisted my ankle in the alley.
I stepped on a severed hand.
Let me see your wound, sir.
Yeah, that would have been good too. That would have been very good. Didn't happen. He just miraculously healed as soon as he killed a vet. I love Scully when she sees the dead vet there and she's by him and Mulder's coming in. She says, come take a look at this.
Check this out.
Look at this. What am I looking at? Oh my God, that's a dead body.
Once again, she does not go into doctor mode.
Oh no.
And even in the obvious futility of it, she does not render any aid. She leaves to call for an ambulance, which
the scream happened probably 10 seconds before she actually gets there. And she's like, hey, come look at this.
Check
the guy
this
should
out.
he should be convulsing, like blood spasming.
She just covers his mouth. Shh. It'll all be over soon.
No, you're better. It's better this way.
Trust me, you want to breathe through a straw.
Yeah. So Matt in the chat has noted that he can be any dog he wants to be now. So I think he should be that dog from Arcadia. He should be Scruffy.
Scruffy. We come back from commercial, Andrew, on the adorable Great Dane face. Adorable. Same coloring as my girl.
Yeah.
Same coloring. Good old Fiona. But Karen sits at her computer and Scully comes in. It's time, Andrew, for a sit down. She pulls up a chair and unholsters her gun. If you so much as look at Mulder again, I will turn your head into a canoe.
Wait a second. Hold on. I don't remember this.
This is the next scene. The scene you wanted to play.
Oh, okay. We'll see if you're factually correct as to the narrative. Here we go.
Where's Fox?
Continuing his investigation. Come on.
You're not working together?
No. This is my investigation.
Of?
You.
I have no idea what you mean.
I thought at first that they were eccentricities or affectations, the dark, the clothes, but it's photosensitivity. Your sleeves cover up skin lesions. It's why you're here amongst the humans instead of out in the field. Systemic lupus erythematosus.
Lupus, from the Latin for wolf. Ironic, isn't it?
Ironic or perverse?
I've ignored the symptoms for years. I've always felt more like a wolf than a person.
But not with Mulder. With Mulder, you found somebody you could communicate with. Someone who challenged you. But that wasn't enough. You needed to lure him out here.
I lack your feminine wiles.
You don't believe it, do you? Not for a minute that there's an animal out there killing.
I don't believe that this man, Dr. Detweiler, ever caught it. I lived in Asia. I know about the Wan Shang dole. And if it survived for over a century, it was because it was more cunning than man. More cunning than this man Detweiler ever dreamed of.
More cunning than you? I'm watching you.
You watch, but you don't see.
Freaking cryptic is that?
She is on high alert with Karen.
Well,
I ask
when
you,
did that
Andrew.
scene?
I ask everyone here, feel free to chime in. I'm trying to give Scully's misgivings about Karen some legitimacy, and there may not be. I'm okay with that. Does she think she's the murderer? Is that what I'm to believe by, the whole perverse thing? Like, you're so in love with animals that you are manufacturing this whole thing. I not once ever thought she was a murderer.
No, it maybe because we have got this bird's eye perspective of the monster kills. If we maybe didn't have those scenes, maybe we would see it differently. Maybe we would be like, oh, maybe she is taking her dogs for a walk, if you know what I mean. But based on knowing what's going on behind the scenes, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, this whole line. I don't think this scene adds anything other than we get
More
Berquist giving us some exposition. She says, I don't believe that Detweiler did what he said he did. I was there. I know about this. I think it's bullshit what he's saying. So in a sense, that's the only value I get from this scene. This business of Scully, I'm watching you, and you've got lupus, and are you being perverse? None of it really resonates. I don't understand it.
Nope. Emily says, I don't think she's the murderer, or she thinks she's the murderer, but I think Scully feels like Karen can't help with the investigation at all and is just using it to get Mulder out there.
She's only the most preeminent expert of dogs. I'm
Right.
sure she doesn't have any,
It's a good explanation, but it also is one of those things where it makes her inconsistent as the dog expert. So,
yeah, fine.
I don't know.
Dog whisperer.
Yeah.
Her role in this is weird, just generally.
Yep.
Like I think she offers some interesting insight that sort of does shape the direction of their investigation. So, I mean, I think she does have some legitimate value, but I don't understand Scully's resistance to it other than she likes my partner. Yeah. And I was saying she's as good a dog expert as Scully is as a medical doctor. Totally true.
I've got all the answers until you really need them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, at the vet, Mulder scrapes up some flesh and bags it. He digs for evidence around the lobby and comes across a receipt. Immediately, he hops on the phone. We cut to Kahn's patrol truck and Mulder has been patched through. He asks if he knew Detweiler had been to the vet for tranquilizers.
Wait, didn't we have a whole bait and switch of like, car 54, where are you? Car 54, come in. And we don't find him, we don't find him. And then finally picks it up. So.
Yeah.
Nice try episode.
Nice try. Well, Mulder summons Kahn to the vet's office as soon as possible. He hops into his truck and starts it. Catching a glimpse in the rear view, he sees a pair of glowing red eyes. The Dole growls and attacks him as he attempts to flee. No good, Andrew. He doesn't make it.
He doesn't
make it.
Doesn't make it. Always check the back seat. I mean, that should be the takeaway from this episode is...
don't go a-knocking, that's for sure. That truck is a rockin'. The next morning, Mulder arrives at the local hospital to find Officer Kahn unconscious in a bed. To his surprise, Detweiler's there, waiting for him to awaken. Mulder inquires why he's there, and the man says, well, he wasn't sure how bad he was, and he was hoping to get a description of the animal. Well, how did you learn of the attack? Oh, he's been in contact with Kahn and learned through his office. But Mulder calls bullshit. No, you didn't. Kahn didn't want anything to do with you. Mulder picks him up from the chair and moves him to the other side of the room forcefully. The argument continues. He's figured it out, Andrew. He's not hunting the animal. He knows it can't be caught. Karen Bergquist figured it out. She knows whatever was in that cage must be killed, and she can't bear that because she doesn't want this thing to be extinct any more than you do. You found the Wansheng Dole, but you never caught it. It caught you. You fought it at first, but now it has control. That's what the tranquilizers were for. You were trying to suppress what you'd become. He's got it all figured out. Detweiler pushes past him and leaves the room. Karen comes in. They meet in the hall. She tells him, I've protected you as long as I could, but I won't any longer. Detweiler's life is falling apart. Apparently, Andrew, she came to the hospital for this.
Just to tell him that.
She does a 180 and leaves. That's it. The woman who never leaves the house for fear of death.
Yep.
Came to the hospital not knowing he was going to be there.
Oh, completely coincidental, yeah. No, she had an appointment. She had an appointment for lupus.
No, she didn't.
She had an appointment.
Let me tell you, she came there knowing somehow that Detweiler was there.
The plot demands that you be there for this dramatic interaction, which also adds no value.
Adds zero value to the episode.
But that is not actually my biggest
please
gripe.
Share.
This is the moment where the episode lost me. If it hadn't before. Yeah, well, arguably, it had lost me previously.
You made it further than I thought.
Yeah. But here was where I did an audible, oh, come on. And that is, Mulder has used his ability, exceptional, one would say, and has figured out that Detweiler is a werewolf.
Deductive reasoning.
Yes, he has put some pieces together, some that he has grabbed from thin air, one would say, to intuit that Detweiler is himself, the Wu Hang Dong or whatever it is.
The Ding Dong one.
the Ding Dong from the Far East. Wow. Why does he let him go?
That's the question.
Why does he let him go?
They need something. The Wu-Tang dog. I was going to ask you the same question. How is it that miraculously this guy doesn't die from his attack?
Okay, I have an answer for that. Because Detweiler doped himself up. And he's only half biting. You know, he's like...
Well, the only other explanation is he just didn't choose the appropriate location for the kill and he can't get over the car seat. He's like, fuck, I shouldn't have attacked. I should have attacked from the passenger side or the driver's side door.
I think he was the missing scene is they were interrupted. And
would have taken 5 seconds to film that. They would have had like a cop car rolling up or something.
Hey, stop right there. No, I think that and he pushes Officer Khan out of the door and in dog form drives away.
Drives away like Toonsis the cat.
Like Toonsis the cat. Automatically making this a much better episode.
That was the best fucking skit. And I was a kid, man. I would lose my mind every time Toonsis was on and drove off the cliff.
And then the dog opens the window and looks out the back and like
flicks a cigarette.
Yeah, and his tongue is like in the wind because that's how dogs like to go. Oh, so much better.
Absolutely.
But why does he let him go? I mean, he could have solved so many problems right there.
Right.
I think you're killing a lot of people indiscriminately. I don't have a lot of evidence, but I can hold you for 48 hours for pretty much no reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And if you happen to turn into a monster dog in the cell, well, I'm going to get a lot of support for the judicial options before us.
Yes. Well, this is the final scene, I believe, Andrew.
We're getting there.
So play the final scene. There's your...
Is my hand signal? Excellent.
Yes.
Here we go.
I can usually get a sense of a person right away from the dogs. Dogs are the best judges of character I know.
I'm sensing something myself here. I'm thinking maybe I've been misled. As you haven't been totally honest with me about this case.
I've been honest with you, though perhaps not myself. I was looking forward to meeting you. I wouldn't admit how much.
You might also have admitted what you knew about this animal, that it wasn't an animal at all.
I heard the reports and called you out, if only so you could disprove them. What I knew was it couldn't be a dog responsible for those killings.
It's Detweiler, isn't it?
Yes.
So you knew that and didn't say?
I only realized it when I saw him. My failure was in thinking I was protecting the animal, that by deceiving you, it might be captured alive. He's got to be put down, Fox. It's the only way to stop this.
I've got Scully on him, tailing him, watching his every move.
He'll elude her easily.
So where's he gonna go?
To the man he only wounded. To the hospital. To finish the kill.
But he already knows it's Detweiler. He already called that out.
Yeah.
Wait, before I arrest you, I have to go confirm my theory with a woman that my partner doesn't trust.
I'll be back for you, sir. You stay here.
You don't leave town, and you don't shift into dog form.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he gets up to call Scully and has her go to the hospital to protect Khan. And here Karen glances at her I Want to Believe poster as if we're supposed to derive something from that. I don't know.
Something.
The agents are now at the hospital. Mulder informs her of what Detweiler becomes. Despite her skepticism, she says, well, all right, I'll stay. She grabs his magazine, and they both sit and wait.
So let me get this straight. You're saying to me this man can turn into a dog?
Yeah, I'll bite.
Sure. All right, we've seen some shit. So actually, this isn't the strangest thing I've ever heard. I mean, they have seen shape-shifting.
She stands here and goes, Mulder, are you sure it's not a mountain lion?
Much better episode. Yeah.
Yes. Well, back at Berquist Kennels, she cages her dogs and heads inside. Before she peers into the woods nearby. She isn't fazed at all by the very low, very bright light shining from behind the trees, creating a beautiful shot in the misty woods. The scenes are intertwined with the agents waiting at the hospital. Mulder checks his watch and decides it's not going to happen. Karen lied. He wakes Scully and they leave.
And that's the moment when Detweiler shows up and kills him, because he's been watching and waiting, and he's going to outpatience them.
You see in the background, he's the receptionist, just waiting for them to leave.
he walks by as Scruffy the dog.
Yes. No, he's the janitor. I clearly see a janitor in the back of this shot.
If he can shape change into any dog form he wants, could he not shape change back into any human form he wants?
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I don't know why he always picks Detweiler's form.
I don't know how the magic works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Andrew, that's a little too unbelievable, right?
Okay, everything else about this episode made sense, but that's just too far.
That's just out of bounds, Andrew. Know your rules.
I had it until.
Yeah, Jesus. Why don't you just ask for the moon?
Can we get to the end of this one?
Can you just end this, Mike? All right. Well, she enters her home. It's quiet. She heads upstairs. In her desk drawer, she pulls a handheld dart gun and loads it. She waits. Outside, in the woods, we see the dole bound through the trees towards her house. Her phone rings. She gently picks it up and lays it on the desk. It's Mulder urging her to lock her doors. But she's got other plans, Andrew. The D-hole comes in from the front door and skitters throughout the house, searching. He arrives at the stairs and begins his ascent. Karen sees him and steels herself. She stands and walks to the middle of the room to prepare her shot. The silhouette of the D-hole presents itself into a fully formed wolf in front of her. It growls and snaps at the air. Its eyes turn the sharp red. But here she puts her gun down, deciding against it. She goads it on. Come on, she says. The snarling beast lunges at her and jumps, knocking her through the window behind her. The two fall from the second story to the barking dogs outside, watching in horror. Look at those punums, Andrew. They're such cute dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Later, the agents arrive. They head to the residence to be stopped in their tracks. A naked Detweiler has been impaled by a metal fence post, and they find Karen nearby and check on her vitals. Scully communicates with a look. Dead. We go now to the X-Files office. Mulder sits alone. He looks a bit sad, head in his hands. Scully comes in with a long mailing tube. She tries to comfort her friend, but he criticizes himself. Maybe he believed her too quickly, and this is his fault. Well, she had a lot of secrets. She lived by her instincts and sized people up well. And Scully says she had Mulder figured out to a T. She saw a kindred spirit in him and tries to say nice things about Karen, which is unusual given how she viewed Karen this whole episode.
Exactly. Who are you, Scully?
Before she leaves, she hands Mulder the tube. It's from Berquist Kennels. He unwraps it. The camera quick cuts to him putting in 4 tacks, one in each quarter of the document, hanging it on his wall. It is then revealed to be his old poster, I want to believe. He sits back down and stares at it, deep in thought. Credits. All right, Andrew.
I'm going to just check briefly to see whether my final thoughts. Yeah, it does. I'm just going to say it in my final thoughts rather than go atomic on the death of Karen Berquist, which makes 0 sense. So here we go. Alpha, in a word, bites. It's a very loose werewolf plot stitched together with a very loose romance plot with a teaspoon of fan service dropped in at the end. I've already enumerated the pack of problems I have with this episode, but as usual, my complaint is largely, what do the agents actually do in this episode? Mulder has pieced together the moving parts of the plot. He's figured out that Detweiler's the bad guy, and for some reason, he decides to let him go. Take him into custody, and you solve a bunch of problems and get some answers after midnight. If they were better investigators, he could have also done some basic fact-checking, like, say, get some evidence about how Detweiler actually got back into the country from China. If he was the dog in that box, there would not be any. But if that part of the episode was a bit rough, then the real dog's breakfast is the romance subplot between Berquist and Mulder. I guess they were trying to go with an unrequited thing. That is, Berquist isn't good with people, but fascinated by Mulder, and luring him with a mystery is as close to romance as she can get. But it's so subtle as to be non-existent, and for Scully to pick up on it and be threatened by it doesn't make any sense. What threat is Berquist other than the closest thing they have to an ally in this chase? And most damning is the writer's decision to kill Berquist, an act of sacrifice that has absolutely no foundation. She's an animal expert. She knows everything about this thing. She doesn't exhibit any suicidal tendencies, and she's got the means to solve the problem at her fingertips, and yet she throws it away. Calling me crazy, but this is positively one of the most terrierable episodes.
Oh my God. That was a pile of shih tzu, Andrew.
I worked very hard on that one.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Man.
Getting applause in the chat. I'm all flutter.
Well, yeah, this is a little hectic. I mean, okay, it's a werewolf story. That's the baseline. Is it a love story? A creeper story? It's really hard to tell at times what's going on with the humans. Very easy to tell what's going on with the dog. The episode itself fares okay. In the end, I understand the core of the story, and it tells an all right story, whether or not it's extremely predictable. If I had to put this up against Shapes, and Maddie Conrad in the chat here at the beginning, disagreements. I think Shapes wins hands down.
Now that we got to the end, I like Shapes better. Yeah. The end of this episode is a turd compared to Shapes.
Shapes wins hands down, if only because of the setting. This one wins on effects. This one loses on story. Mm-hmm. The whole relationship with Karen and Mulder, I just don't know that I buy it. What I can buy is that that he knew someone who took to him and they developed a friendship or something. That's fine. I don't care about that. What I don't buy is that a case like this would just magically appear and this woman is local to it. It's just way too convenient. And
but she was the one that forwarded it to Mulder, though. She's the inroad.
No, I get that. But my point is like, okay, so she's this dog whisperer, and oh man, the case of a lifetime has just pulled up into port near her, who Mulder's just miraculously been talking to. Too much. Make it a little bit less convenient. What would have been better, I think, make it a little bit more personal. Have her, okay, they've had this little online relationship or friendship, whatever. Have her be a part of the story, an active part of the story. She's not really part of this case. It just fell in her lap. Mm-hmm. And I would say make it something where, because she's this dog expert or canine expert, she's hunting the creature, or she's inviting the agents to come along with her to Asia or something. And, I've got this foolproof plan to find the Wansheng Dole. It's a mythical beast. Mm-hmm. Mulder's already on board, right? That would be more believable, okay? He's got this online friend, and then that becomes the hardest thing to wrap your head around. Okay, we didn't hear about this before this episode, but you can still get over it. This is just everything, one thing after another, you have to get over. You have to mentally do gymnastics to kind of understand what's going on between them, and between what her purpose is in this episode. I don't know. It's an all right episode. I don't hate it. It's just there's too much that's kind of bogging it down.
Classic problem that they have had in season 1 episodes was the parachuting in of characters only to be disposed of.
Right.
They do it much later. It's an Act 4 issue with her, right? Sometimes with Jerry and Reggie, they're out by halfway through the episode, a mid-episode crisis where Jerry dies in the elevator or Reggie dies from a lobster claw. But, in this case, they decide to parachute her in as a love interest. That's not really a love interest. Mm-hmm. And then kill her at the end for, I argue, no great reason.
No, she chose to end her life for just like this fake emotional resolution. And I don't care.
Well, exactly. It's not earned, and it certainly doesn't make us care about her. It just feels like you're a dummy.
It's fucking Jerry from Ghost in the Machine.
Yeah.
I don't care about you, sir.
A better ending is one where she doesn't die, first of all.
Yeah.
You have to end up killing Detweiler because the freak of nature in X-Files fashion cannot exist beyond the episode, right?
Unless they make a big to-do about it. And he opens his eyes.
I just killed for a cigarette.
Exactly.
Well, in fact, there is an alternate ending in this episode where Officer Khan wakes up in the bed and he's got his eyes all red and he's going to continue.
Thank God they didn't do that.
The writers just can't kill off their villains. But I think the better ending is she does trank Detweiler. You know, she does hit him with the trank as he's rushing towards, and he gets up and he transforms into a half man, half Detweiler. And he's lunging around trying to make it work.
Half man, half Detweiler? So a full human.
Well, even like, humanoid features, whatever. That's your wedding dress for your effects guys. It's like, you want to look something cool. It's going to be this werewolf, and then he's flailing about and then he like stumbles out the window or something, and she's like dangling and he's holding on to her shirt cuff. And then she undoes the button and then he falls down 2 stories and gets impaled on the, on the pole, Hans Gruber style. But it doesn't have to be that. But I argue that she can be an active character. She can have agency. She can do the thing that they set her up to do, which is to have the trank gun. But she puts it down and doesn't use it. And it's like, I willingly want to die, says that character. And I'm like, what? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know if they really wanted us to think that because she's suffering with her illness, we have to. Yes. The hardest thing for me to believe is that Karen is a love interest for Mulder. Woof.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I have to applaud the writers for this one thing. One, the ending they chose not to use.
Oh, yes.
but they filmed
praise somebody for making the right decision.
No, hold on. I'm not actually praising him. I'm just trying to be funny here.
Yeah,
one,
fair.
they didn't use that ending.
I'm so glad they didn't do that.
And two, the other ending I thought I saw coming was how they get into a scuffle at the end and Karen becomes the wolf she so loves. The canine. Yeah. She is fully a canine. She opens her eyes after Mulder and Scully leave and they're red or something.
Karen, you're looking so much better today. Yeah, I could really take a bite out of today.
Take a bite out of crime with you guys. Can I be your sidekick? Come on, McGruff. Oh boy.
Freeze frame. Yeah. I'm glad they didn't go there too. I guess they had to kill her off so that she wouldn't be another Phoebe Green loitering around the distance waiting for the callback.
But see, what is so hard? What is so bad about that? Phoebe didn't die. And they never bring her back. So who cares if she lives? I just don't think she needs to die.
I totally agree. She didn't need to die at all. They just decided that she needed to die at the end of that episode. Not even a good death. She tumbles out the window. It's a terrible death.
I mean, really, she got the wind knocked out of her. She just chose to die. I don't think.
Yes, exactly. You know what she died of? She died of a broken heart. Padme style from Star Wars.
Broken heart emoji. She sent that text message to Mulder so when he gets back to Washington, D.C., that's what he sees from her. And she's dead now. AOL, you've got mail. Broken heart.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to our date.
Oh, God. I'm falling for you, Mulder.
Yeah, oh my.
The episode between all of us, we are a community here. This was a good time.
I think we made it a much more pleasant experience than it could have otherwise been.
Why don't we go to listener comments? I've actually got a really long one here. Hold on one second.
Okay.
This just in. I might have to print this off and read it.
Oh my!
Everyone's
all right. Well, listen. I'll do the others, so you can do that one. The first one is Katie Stenlake saying Alpha's the worst.
You're fucking it up. That's the one I was going to read.
Oh, but you should have maybe said that less sarcastically.
Jesus, Andrew. Forget it.
No. We can do it again.
No. I'm not gonna.
People.
No.
No one will know. We've got only a couple of people in the chat. Everyone else in the real world won't know. Of this amazing joke that you got all queued up. Okay, so go. I'm ready. You can even put in a printer sound effect. It'll be great.
No, I'm not gonna print. I was just gonna say, Katie Stenlake, Alpha is the worst. That is the comment. It took a lot of time to write that, but she has very, very strong opinions about this one. That's the comment. She didn't even want to tell us why it's the worst. But I can't argue with it. There is a lot to dislike about this episode.
Listen, it has not done well so far. I think it's going to do poorly at the end of the season wrap up.
I don't even know. Is it going to do poorly? Let me think here.
I haven't even been episode.
She could have called it dog shit.
Yes,
that's true.
Well, do you want me to read the other listener comment here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it's really long. I might have to go and print it out. The eye roll from heaven there. Emily Messenger says, I don't hate Alpha, but I think I'm in the minority here. Yes, Scully is territorial over Mulder, and people think she's being a bitch, but I feel like it just fits the theme of the episode. The friendship between Mulder and Karen is weird, but aren't all of his friendships weird? Anyway, I'm just glad it was an excuse for him to get his poster back. I agree.
Again, I think the episode, again, I don't hate it. I think it's fine. It's just got a series of questions that I can't really get over to call it good.
I did write down a note at the end where I thought the producer said, you know what? He hasn't got that poster on his wall. And we really need to write in some script coming up, that he gets his poster back or he goes out and gets another one. And let's find some poetic way to make that happen. Maybe he connects with somebody and they share a thing over the poster. What do you think, guys? Can we make that happen? And then I think
Karen Berquist was born.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Jeffrey Bell raised up his hand and said, "Ooh, I got it.
My wife
It'll
could
fit right
do
into
this.
my episode." Yeah, we can get in there and do this. So
Good stuff.
That was the thing.
Good stuff. Well, I think that's the episode.
I think we have gone way overtime on this one.
Well, not overtime, but
that's saying can I have a doggy bag on this delicious episode. Yes,
delicious episode.
I did call for dog puns. We did get them. Everybody stepped up.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up and punning it up with everyone.
It's good stuff.
All right, Andrew. As per usual, why don't I give you the final say on this episode?
Valued listeners, don't forget to have your pets spayed and neutered.
I am the dog master.
Yeah.
Well, this is the next scene, Andrew.
Okay, I'm ready.
You are ready. Go ahead.
Oh.
No, the next scene, Andrew.
The next video thing you want me to play.
Jesus Christ.
I think we need hand code. I think we need hand signals. You need to do this, like number 3 or something. Want me to play like an umpire. Steal second. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who haven't been here every week, this always happens with my clips. He's good to go on his. He's Johnny on the spot with his clips. But mine, nope. It's as if we didn't prepare anything.
Mike, I am going to show you how the system works, and you can run your own goddamn clips. How's that?
Whatever.
Here we go.
Play the fucking
number
clip.
3.
2. Clip number 2.
But you said 3. Oh,
you said 3. You're ruining the illusion for everyone.
You're going to cut all this stuff out. It's going to be great. How do I keep track of your clips? All right, clip number 2, just like I planned.
It's the car scene. There you go.
Everything okay, Scully?
How well do you know this woman, Walden?
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at tinhxfilespod, no dash, to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.